Hey everybody, welcome back. This week we're going to tackle a fantastic Rolling Stones song off the Let It Bleed album called Monkey Man. And this is sort of a, I don't know if special is the right word, but I've sort of had a crush on this song ever since the first time I heard it. And interesting enough, the first time I heard this song was on a TV show way back in the late 80s called 21 Jump Street. Anyone 50 and above, I'm sure, remembers the show. But they had an episode where it had to do with, like, I don't know, basketball. People were playing basketball and they were heroin dealers or, you know, kids doing heroin. I don't know. But they had this scene where they were playing basketball and they were high on heroin and Monkey Man came on. And that was the first time I heard that song. And I was like, whoa. It seems to be right at that period of Rolling Stones where they were just evolving into what we sort of know the Rolling Stones as, and the way that Keith plays the guitar, the way he evolved into it. You know, similar to the Beatles, the Rolling Stones had these different periods where, you know, the music they were putting out just sounded different every like 2 years. Like every time they would put out an album or second album, they would evolve a lot. This was sort of, this Let It Bleed album, in my opinion, is sort of really the first where they sort of take that first step into sounding like what we all sort of remember the Rolling Stones as that very end of the 60s and, you know, early 70s, and Keith sort of lands squarely in the open G tuning a lot. And even though this song is in standard tuning, he plays a lot, the riff, the main riff in this song is based off of a part of sort of the way that he plays those open G tuning. So that's, for me, why it sounds like that sort of first step of like the Rolling Stones going into that next era. Primarily it's in the key of C sharp. For the electric guitars, he's capoing at the 2nd fret. You're going to be able to hear a, you know, part when they're in the verse, and he's clearly doing sort of a D shape sound. And you get that when you're capoed. When you're playing that E as that D shape. Anyway, song is primarily in C sharp, and that's where all the sort of juicy riffs are. First sort of guitar that you're hearing is a neck pickup. I think it's a Gibson. He was playing Black Les Paul Custom a lot in that era. I don't know if that's what he was using, but it sounds like it was. It wasn't the Tele here. But you get this note, which is your G string at 9, which is the minor third of your C sharp minor chord. So we're going to get that note, but we're going to swell it with the volume knob. So right, and it's going to resolve to what would be the major third now. It converts to a major third for your C sharp. He goes. Right. The other guitar is doing this figure here. And then we're going to resolve on our major C sharp. But before we get to that main riff, so that piece is building off of a C sharp minor, and you're playing the piece of the chord of the big bar chord. You're playing your 11 on D, 9 on G, 9 on B when you're barring, and you actually have your pinky finger on 12 on B. So you're barred on the bottom 4 strings at 9, and you have your ring finger on 11 at D, pinky at 12 at B. right? You want to roll the volume back a little. You don't want to be maxed up yet because you're going to crank it in just a minute. You want to give yourself a little room. But they've got those cool parts where the bells or the, I don't know what that instrument is. It's playing the behind the piano. But over that is this. And you're just going to walk your pinky down. One more. I just swap it for your middle finger. And then hit your volume up and you're going to resolve on it. Just hit a big C sharp major chord. Right? You do it again with all the gain on. Then the big riff. So that is the main riff that we all sort of associate with this song, which is so great. And that's the sound, you know, that we sort of associate with Keith Richards a lot. So he's starting to get into that and build riffs around that, which I know you've heard are in tons of his songs, right? So you're barred across at 6. Because remember, this is your C sharp. If you're capoed here at 2, but that's your C sharp mini bar chord. But if you just play this part of it here, and that's the Keith chord, you're adding on your middle finger at on the B string at 7, and your ring finger at 8 on the D string. So that's the Keith riff, right? But one more. You're going to put your pinky on your G string now at 9. So not only are we doing these, but we're adding this note. Sounds all dissonant. So we're going to slide into that. So this, you can see I'm on 7, 8 on the A string. Then you give a shot to that mini bar chord, the bottom part. Add your Keith, and then the final note. And that's the groove. It's going to be all over the song. And he plays with the rhythm on that throughout the whole thing. Right? That's going to be in there too. But fantastic riff. Anyway, so coming back from the intro. Swell your volume a little. Harder. Riff. Now we're going to go to our verse. This is where the capo comes in. So it's a D chord, and I'm sort of hammering on. I'm sort of alternating. Do that to taste. But make sure you have your gain up. Riff. And then G shape, but it's an A. A shape, but it's a B. Riff. Again. I would stay away from the major third on that G. So if you're going to finger your G like this, just mute that second string instead of, you don't want to hear that. And by the way, when I'm playing during these verse parts, you just want to roll your volume back. You don't want to give it everything. Roll it back to 8.5, 9. Right. So just play around with the rhythm on that. You can listen to on the record and see, you know, which times he's doing. Right. So you're going to hear all the parts where he's doing that. But the important thing is just to get your fingers used to making that riff. That's just all three of those. All three fingers down. When he does that clever, that's just all your fingers down on that chord. Right? It's your Keith chord plus your pinky. It's just hammering all three of those. Right. All right, during that interlude, when on the electric you're playing an E, a B, and an A, there's a 12-string part that's going on. I think it's a 12-string. It could be a 6-string that's you know, whether you're just playing the octave parts to make it sound like it. But to my ear, it sort of sounds like a 12-string to me. And I don't have my electric here. I'm going to go with acoustic, and it actually sounds sort of close, I think. So I have this actually tuned to an E, open E tuning, to get the part that I think that he needs. So, so he's basically, you know, again, your chords are E, B, and A on the 12th. Oops. 7. I should press down a little bit. 12. 7. 5. Right? So E, B, and A. So he's playing parts of that. So what you can hear sort of rising to the top, and I don't think he does it the same every time, but primarily what he's playing, he's for sure getting that E, sometimes getting a 1 or 2 other strings, but when he comes down to the 7th fret for the B, then really the primary note that you're hearing is that one on the A string. And then he comes back to your D string and he's playing this. Right? This. Repeats, and then repeats again, and the last time it's and it goes back into the main electric guitar riff there. So there's other little parts that he's doing on here, but if you can get somebody to play that 12-string part with you, it will sound epic live. It's the missing part that, you know, if you don't have that second guitar to play that with you, it doesn't sound quite like the record there, but this will definitely nail that for you on that part. All right, and after it goes back into that main riff, the main electric guitar riff there, 12-string is still playing a little bit of a role going on there, adding some color. So as that riff is going on, Right? So you're coming out of this back on your C sharp. The riff starts up and you slide all the way up to 12. Right? So you're just dragging it up to 12 and you're playing the G and the B string. Because that's basically the 7th of the C sharp chord. So, do one of those. I'm picking up to try and get the fat string on the 12 because I think on that part you're hearing that. So again, debate whether or not it's a 12 string or not, but that's how I'm getting that tone. And then the other sort of, you'll hear one of those drag down. And then really the only other stuff you're hearing on that 12 string is you're hearing somebody just hit a C sharp major behind that riff that's going on. And it sounds like it's fingered to me. It doesn't sound like it's a slide. It's more deliberate. So that 12 string is the missing piece. If you got somebody that can play second guitar with you live and you can nail those pieces, that's really how you can make it sound like the record. All right, hope you enjoyed that. That was Monkey Man by the Rolling Stones off the Let It Bleed album. And 21 Jump Street too, if you go and search out that episode. Great tone, dial up some overdrive. Don't get that full fuzz distortion overdrive. Get just good rock overdrive. You want to hear the character of your guitar. If you can get it with humbuckers and Les Paul, that's great. I tried to do that with mine and it was too much, and decided to go with single coil on this with the telly, and it seemed to get a lot closer. But you want to roll off the volume. Remember in the intro, you roll it off, start at around 6 or 7, swell it up in the beginning, and then most of your riffs and your stuff you're going to be playing around 9 on your volume knob. Give yourself a little bit of space to be able to go all the way to the 10 a few times if you want to, but don't ride on 10. So let me know in the comments what you think. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe. I appreciate that. And tell a friend and have them subscribe too. Let me know what song you'd like me to tackle next week. And until then, take care, everybody.